Hi BookTube and happy Friday. I'm here on my favorite day to film and my favorite kind of videos to make, where it's just like the sit down chatty video where we share what we're reading and what we're planning to do over the weekend. And as I just sat down, it's starting to rain outside, which is very weird for the start of summer here in like the west and the west coast. It's can be dry in the summer, but it's cold and rainy, and not just today, but the forecast for the next 5 days or so is all like low 60s, if that, and cloudy and rainy. And not that you're here for the weather now I'm thinking about. That's kind of boring to talk about, but it is interesting how different areas have completely different kind of weather. But I will say I saw on the weather forecast, like continuing this conversation about the weather, the very last day I can see, which is like 10 days out, we're going from low 60s, like the high of the day is low 60s for the foreseeable future, and then randomly it's going to spike all the way to like 101 or 102 degrees. So something weird is going on here. It hasn't felt like summer yet. Like I'm in long sleeves, and yeah, anyway. As for enough about the weather. As for my weekend, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I was thinking how I have a Barnes & Noble gift card that I got for Christmas. I have a free gift card, and Barnes & Noble is technically like in walking distance to me. So you would think I would have spent that money a long time ago, but I haven't. I don't know. I'm so out of practice with buying new books, and any new book that I want to purchase. No, I mean want to read. I shouldn't say purchase. Want to read. I will just look at the Libby app and not pre-order it, but what is it called? There's this little bell icon, like notification of when the libraries get it in, and then I can just, it'll alert me, and then I can put a hold on it, and if I'm quick about it, then I can get the book relatively quickly as soon as it's released, or as soon as it's published. Sometimes that same week. I might have to wait a week or two, but with that notification bell, it's helped me. With like when new releases, like really popular books, they can be like months and months wait, but it's kind of a way of getting around that and still read a brand new book without having to spend what, $30, $40? I don't even know now what the new published books are like. I know the last time I went to the bookstore, nonfiction books were like $50 up, like for the hardcovers, and I'm like, oh my goodness, not even like the gigantic hardcover nonfiction books, but like I'm talking like 400 pages or less. It was like $45, $50, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's like all my money on my little gift card here. But all that to say, I might go take a gander, or prowl around the store and see what they have. It's worth a look every now and then. So I was like, why not walk over there and check it out? So that's gonna be my plans for the weekend. But I know the last time I sat down and talked with you, I was doing my monthly wrap up of May, and I'm talking about how I want to really focus on the books I own and decrease them. Not a book buying ban, not 100 book challenge, nothing like that, but just more of make that a more primary focus. But with this gift card and the price of things, I might get 2 books out of this. So that's not doing any damage to my wallet or to my bookcases. So anyway, that's gonna be my plans. Let me know if there's any new releases I should be looking at, or authors or anything. Even though like I was just saying how I have the Libby app and all of that to use, I don't read that many new books recently. I used to, a couple years ago, I used to read a lot more new releases than I do now. And I don't know what it is. Like, so many of the books just aren't interesting. The books I read that are newly released almost always are authors that I've read and loved in the past. And I'll like with next book in the series, that kind of thing, I'll pick up. But other than that, I haven't read that many new releases unless I hear it, something's like sparking up on BookTube. But yeah, let me know. What should I be looking at? Because I haven't been to Barnes & Noble and I don't know, it feels like a year, which is just nonsense. It's walking distance to me. What's wrong with me? I don't know. Anyway, as for the books I am reading right now and my plans for the weekend, hello, my name is Lindsay, and I have a problem because I am in the middle of so many books. For June on the Range, I'm focusing on nonfiction books. It's like my little twist on it. And then I'm also participating in the Slice of Life readathon, where half those were nonfiction. So those mean there's diary collections, essays, short stories, letters, And then your normal, your biography, you have your memoirs and histories. So like you have all that variety. Something about that has me reading a million books because I'm reading like an essay here or a diary there or a letter there. And I don't know. Something's gone wrong. I mean, wrong in the good sense because like I'm making progress in a lot of books, but like almost none of them are ones where I can just like read cover to cover and sit, you know what I mean? Like it's something you can easily put down, pick up and put down. So let's just go through them. The newest one that I've started is The Diary of a 49er, edited by Chauncey L. Canfield. And this book came out in this edition is saying 92, but I know for sure this book did not come out in that year, because when I was looking at the preface by the editor here, he his notes was from, what was it, like 1906. So I don't know when exactly this book came out, but it's I'm just a diary or two entry in. So I read the preface and a couple of diary entries, and I am in June 1850. So I'm not sure exactly what this is about. There's a really pretty like wraparound cover art here, but there's no description. I'm just rolling with it. And looking at how the chapters are broken down, it's like giving me a summary of what, like basically like the title of each entry. So like chapter 1, for example, it's saying the hardships of a miner's life, letters from home, express writer and his welcome call, blah blah. And it's like the beginning of Nevada City, the ups and downs of mining, etc. So it's like titles of the diary entries. I don't know if this is following one person or if I'm gonna follow like a multitude of people. But so far, he's complaining, the miner is, this takes place in California, and he's like newly arrived, I'm gathering, to the mining camps in Northern California. And it's funny, like Nevada City and all of that, I used to live like right near there, like really, really, really close. I've been to Nevada City, like Grass Valley and all that many, many, many times. So it's kind of funny to, read like the history of that area. Because current day is nothing like what it used to be. It's not like a blown up gigantic city by no means, but completely different atmosphere and people than what's in here. But he's talking about how there's no beef in it. Like all the cows are being shipped up from like Southern California, and how like by the time the beef gets there, the cows get there, like the meat is really tough and he has to boil it for days on end basically to make it edible. And how there's no fruit, and the apple, he bought 2 apples for like, it was like something like $1 or 2 back in like 1850. And like, oh, they're from Oregon, and I didn't know Oregon could grow any fruit because they're just newly settled themselves. So it's really interesting to see like the early days, because I live in Oregon, I know a little bit more about this history in this state, and like I said, I live right near this area too. So it's interesting to see. But I would be interested in this regardless of if I had lived in the area or not. But yeah, so it's a diary collection, and they're like little, like a page or half a page little entries. And like the first one I always find something like this fascinating when it's talking about his like grocery order, and how it's like shipped into like the local post office, how he's buying like a sack of flour and like 10 pounds of pork and 1 pound of tea and so on. It's like he's going to Costco. But like with the prices and everything. So he made like his order, I don't know if it's like of the month or what have you. I don't know how long it's for, but it's $67, and he had to pay $4 in postage to get it shipped there. And so for 1850, I have a feeling $71 is a lot of money. But like, yeah, like for a shirt, for example, it cost $2, and overalls were $2.50. So I love like little entries like that where it has things like that, just like give you like a perspective and a reference of current days. And even though the prices right now are just insane at the grocery store and everywhere else, so I'm sure it's like it could be the inflation could be comparable for what he's paying, because he's living, this is right when California's being settled, so there isn't hardly anything, the infrastructure, anything like what it is now. Like California is basically its own country. And then I'm reading Jim Bridger, Mountain Man, a biography by Stanley Vestal. And just basically kind of like updates of where I'm at on things. And I just got to part 2. I'm on page 57. So I've read a little bit so far. And right now it's following him as a young man, how he starts out. His family moves to St. Louis, Missouri. and he loses his parents and has to then provide for his siblings, and so he decides to start rafting to generate some income across the Missouri River, I want to say. Yeah, and then it was like entering into the Mississippi. And so he earns some money by that, and then he apprentices at a blacksmith place as a blacksmith for 5 years. As like when you always hear like these indentured servants kind of thing. Although he didn't come from a different country, he had to do it for 5 years. That's a contract. And then now he's out of it, and now he's decided to join with like going west and carving out these trails. And so far they've made it to, there was a map. It was very odd how this book is laid out, because the map wasn't at the beginning. It's like in the middle of a chapter, not even at the start of a chapter. And it's giving a map of like where he was going. And so far they are in northern North Dakota, like in the middle-ish part, getting towards the mountains there. Kind of like where Theodore Roosevelt was during his time. So I'm liking it so far. The writing is kind of weird. It's like it gives you like straight English, but sometimes at the beginning of the chapter, the first couple sentences, but almost always at the end of each chapter, it's giving you this like weird slang. It's also turning into like this like Western talk or something. For example, the last it's like blah 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 blah, and then it's like it's saying, I reckon the skunk ain't worth shooting after. It's like a lot of like apostrophes with like the ing is missing, and it's just all of a sudden like this. It's really odd how that's each chapter is like this like folktale in a way, but it's not. But just how it's written like that, the first and last sentences. So that's interesting to see. And then I am reading The View from Lazy Point, A Natural Year in an Unnatural World by Carl Safina. And this one is about, currently it's mostly focused on his home off the coast, well, not off the coast, it's on the coast of Long Island, and it's an area called Lazy Point, and this one has a map too, I want to say. Let me find it here. It was, yeah, here we go. So his house is, yeah, here's Lazy Point. So right near this village area. So like way on the very tip of Long Island. An area I've never been to before. I've always wanted to see it. But I'm making good progress. I'm trying to read a chapter a day. And I am on, I'm in April. So it's like following the year. So I'm on page 95. It's my summer reading, even though it doesn't feel like summer. Bookmark. But so far it's talking about the different animals he sees when he's walking his dog on the beach, the different birds, and mostly birds that he's focusing on. And he's talking about like how like the fisheries and the birds, like how what the numbers used to be like and what they're like now. And then he goes off to the Caribbean and is like meeting up with other scientists to talk about like what different studies they're doing. So there was a study, these scientists were putting like these little tiles on different areas of the coral reef and just seeing what lands on the tiles, and like so basically what's starting fresh, what's able to grow within a certain time span on these little tiles, which was interesting. And yeah, so this is following the year. It was broken up, so it's like April, May, June, blah blah blah. But then in between, or often in between, there's these little like side notes where he's going off to here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, this is scientist and a journalist, and I've read many books by this author, and I've really liked them. So and I like the artwork as well. I think I mentioned that last time, because each chapter has a bunch of different drawings. So this is a whale that was beached on the sand and then died. There's different birds. Let's see. Here's another fish. So yeah, just like talking about the different fish that like use the coral reefs and like, things like that. And it always makes me think of somehow makes me think of like I think it was like Finding Nemo, the movie trailer. I remember seeing that like the commercial, and it always being like the fish like almost said flying, swimming along the reef, like all the different fish that are in that little area. So I always have that image in my head, because I'm never going to be like deep diving into the oceans to look at something like this. And then the last book I am in the middle of, well, I'm in the middle of two other ones that are not like the primary focus. So like, this isn't even everything I'm in the middle of or starting. I'm also in the middle of two other ones that I've talked about for a bit, but that's gonna be my focus this weekend, so I'm just gonna leave them to the side here. But Story of the Great American West. I have the dust jacket, but this is an older book from the 80s, and that cover could easily like crumble and get torn, so like I put it safely away. But I am not far into this. So far it's kind of like a little textbook in a way. I'm only on page 10. Or page 11, where there's lots and lots of text with like little pictures on the side. This is talking with the Western movement. At first it's focusing on, you know, who was there before, you know, before any of like the white people or Spanish or French came in. He's talking about, you know, of course, like, you know, the Native Americans there, like the different cultures and regions and tribes. And then now we're talking, of course, like, you know, the Spanish coming in, the French, and like the different, what they were going for. And then it just now talked about the English, how, like the Florida and Canada was taken, the north part and the south part, but like the middle part, that wasn't being dominated by anyone, but the English like took it over and like, oh, it's perfect for farming with the temperate weather and whatnot. And so that's how far I'm in right now. I have a ways to go, but once I get past this preface, then it's going to be a ton more pictures and less text heavy, so I should be able to get through it quicker. I'm just reading a little bit each night. Like this is like one of the last books I pick up at night, so I end up only having like 10 minutes or so to read, and so it's just taking me a while. But so these are all the books I am in the middle of, including 2 more and an audiobook, so 3 more. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm like, oh, why not just, this is why I'm saying help. Or something's gone wrong with me. Because I'm going to pick up 2 more books. And these are going to be like my focused books of the day. So these other books I'll read at night. You know, read a bit here and there. And then these others will be my focus like from like morning until the evening. So because it's cold out and rainy and cloudy, I wanted to pick books off my to be read pile that were like as north as possible. So guys like Virginia the range. And so even though a lot of these are like summer themed, some of these are like year round, but I was like, let's go as far north as possible. So I'm going to British Columbia for this one. This is a book I've wanted to read for quite some time. Driftwood Valley, A Woman Naturalist in the Northern Wilderness by Theodora C. Stanwell Fletcher, with an introduction by Wendell Berry. And this is about her going to the north of British Columbia, and for 3 years she's a naturalist, and her husband, who was a trapper and explorer, lived in the remote Driftwood River Valley. And is there a map of where that is? I don't know. I think maps are handy with things like this. I don't think this has anything, but it would be nice. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything. There's some pictures here. But yeah, I'll like Google where this is. Is there in the back? No, there's nothing in the back. Anyway, so yeah, if anyone's ever been to Driftwood Valley, let me know. I'm curious. But yeah, this is like kind of, you know, be like a memoir of sorts, and it's around 300 pages, 320 pages. So this will be my focus for tomorrow, and then on Sunday, I'll be focusing on the Rose Years, The New Dawn on Rocky Ridge by Roger Lee McBride. I think this is book 6 in the series. I have 2 more in the series, and I'll be done with all of the generational books of the Little House on the Prairie series. And this is about the year 1900, and since it's taking place in January, it's like, okay, this will be fitting for this weather. While I still have it, I shouldn't be complaining that much about the weather, because once all this cold air rolls through, I'm not going to see it again for a while, so I should actually be thankful for the cold weather. But they're all bundled up on the cover, so I was like, oh, this will be a perfect time to read this before it's like hot and sunny all the time, and then I won't want to be reading anything in the wintertime. Yeah, this is taking place in 1900, and she's now, what would she be? She was born in, so the last book I read, she was like 10 and 11 years old. This one I don't think had, like, I remember the other books had like a family tree in this one, but for some reason this one is opening without that. But yeah, I think she was born in, I should know this, so I think like 78 or something. It's something, I don't know, anyway, it doesn't matter. She's like 13 or 14, I'm assuming, at the time. Anyway, we'll see what I think of this one. This is taking place in Missouri, in Rocky Ridge Farm, as the thing of Rocky Ridge, in Mansfield, Missouri. where Laura and Almanzo settled, and just following her upbringing until she is getting out of high school. I'm not sure if you can hear the rain. If I pause if I stop talking for a second, because now it's like really picking up. But we never get like the summer thunderstorms like you do on the east. I wish we did. Every once in a blue moon, once every couple of years, we'll get a little bit of that. But a soft rain is nice. So yeah, those are all the books I am planning on reading or dabbling in. Yeah, yeah. Let me know if I should focus on something. I'm not sure, but yeah. Let me know what you're reading this weekend, if you're up to anything fun, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.